Alright, this last little nugget trap is just holding dirt, so it's gotta go. And last night the river dropped about 1.5 feet and exposed the bar. And it's quite big, so I'm gonna sample it in a few spots and then sluice away. Alright, I sampled the bar pretty aggressively. Didn't do as well as I thought, and not compared to some of my earlier testing, so maybe I had extra gold in my pan. I set up here near where it really starts to pile up. It seems to be a bit better, but my hoses aren't totally long enough, as I've been doing mostly gravel banks all summer, so I can't get to some of the middle parts. I'm running Razorback mat today, not very steep in its pitch. I want to see how it starts out. And there's lots of little riffles. I know from earlier testing some of the bigger riffles just eject the particle gold back up into the sluice, so it'll be interesting to see how this performs. First shutdown. Pretty bare, lots of heavy rocks. Okay, tons of black sand came out. And if I zoom in, you can see all the gold. Well, maybe I'll switch to macro for you so you can see all the gold. Razorback's doing really well in this spot, producing tons of black sand. Okay, I've done a hole about that big, switched back to the UR mat, moved quite a bit of material out, and I'm just going to do some test panning comparison and see how it does. So I came around a little more with the hog mat, and when I did my test pan recoveries, it was testing a little bit better. It's hard to say. Excellent. I think and you notice I don't have any miner's moss here today because I want to take home just black sand and no blonde sands. So I'm going to switch back to the UR just because I'm capturing a little bit more. So I've eliminated the recovery portion from this video because you can see it in the other videos, but what I want to show is that all this fine gold, and there's not very much bigger that's minus 50, most is minus 100, that the changes that I've made over the course of my season have paid off to increased recovery. So it was very important to be able to show this. So I'm going to weigh it and see what comes of it. So I've done my best to scrape it up into this little piece of paper. Some of the minus 200 stuff is very difficult to move forward. So there's a little bit still left in the pan, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. And I have a little tiny bit left in this bottle here that I'm going to eventually pour out to have my total take for the season. But this is from the dig that I did. And then that's it. So I have my little vial, and I'm going to try and do it by tare weight, but last time it didn't work, so this is just to make sure that I do know.
So the jar weighs 4.83. And I have a reference jar here that's empty, so I know what it weighs, just in case. 3.10. Now if I tear this, it should zero it out. And if I put my gold on it now, I have 1.73 grams. So all my bases are covered for when I fill it. 1.72, little fluctuation there. I'm going to add the gold. I added to 1.88. So I've moved my jar around a little bit, turned it on and off, redid the tears, put it back on again, and it's really sensitive at these small numbers. So it's moving around a little bit. I'll settle for around 0.18 of a recovery. It's still a little low. I had higher expectations, but it is a substantial improvement from where I started the season. So I've re-added the last little bit, and there's my total seasonal take. Just shy of 2 grams. So there's my total take. It got me over 1.9 firmly. Just shy of 2 grams, but this was my total seasonal take from my first 6 months prospecting. And if you start out by viewing my earlier videos, you can see that I've gone up in my recovery almost 4 times, as low as 0.05 of a gram, all the way up till now where I'm at 0.2 of a gram. So 4 times the amount of recovery just by making modifications to my system and checking different spots. So I encourage everybody to have a look, make changes to your equipment, and good luck out there. See you next year.